VEDA Day 28. I'm coming back to you with more Enneagram test thoughts. The image I'm going to describe today is particularly related to the continuum of the levels of development that the Enneagram Institute provides. As you can see, we have the healthy levels, the average levels, there they are, and then the unhealthy levels. It says to understand an individual accurately, it is necessary to perceive where the person lies along the continuum of levels of his or her given type at any moment. One of the most profound ways of understanding the levels is as a measure of our capacity to be present. The more down the levels we go, the more identified we are to our ego and increasingly negative and restrictive patterns. And the further up we are is simultaneous with being more present and awake in our minds, hearts, and bodies. So Eckhart Tolle, in one of his books, described this idea of being in a dark room and having a flashlight, and the flashlight is supposed to represent your conscious awareness. The idea of a flashlight in the dark is really interesting to me because you don't need to fill everything, you just need to have presence directed in the thing you're doing at the specific given moment that you're in. That's what the flashlight represents. You could see being identified to the mind and maybe sort of being half asleep and acting in ways that in which we're not aware as the lessening of that flashlight's beam. The beam gets smaller and smaller and smaller until suddenly person's not aware at all. As you move down the levels in Enneagram, that beam of flashlight, of our capacity to be present or our degree of presence in a given moment, lessens and lessens until it's basically almost completely gone, maybe diminished as far as it can go. That is the moment where we are controlled or taken over by this thing up here, by the lizard brain. Either one can be diminished to a certain degree at high or low, but never rid of. Have you ever walked down a sidewalk and passed somebody and they had no idea you were there? It was as if they didn't even hear you. They were somewhere else. They were there, but they weren't really there. I think maybe the capacity at which we get stuck in here, or we disconnect the inner world that we have with the outer world that we're experiencing. Presence, I think, is the link to that. Our presence that we use links us to reality, what's happening now. The degree to which that's disconnected is what these levels are talking about. I think a lot of the success in relationships I've formed and opportunities I've taken in the things that have needed presence from me and taking care of each moment as it comes is due to that high degree of presence that I've been able to cultivate. Future plans that are made belong to those that can live in the present moment when it's time to carry out those said plans. So that beam of light, I think, is our conscious presence in the moment, and I work throughout my entire life and make it my goal to cultivate as much of that beam as I possibly can with every action I take. Because in my perspective, the presence of the current moment and being here right now and taking care of what's happening right now at this moment, that's kindness and care and thought put into connecting and seeing reality and taking necessary action and responding well. So yeah, I'm loving the Enneagram stuff. Easier said than done, but the better you can maintain your degree of presence at a higher level on the levels of development for that test, the better. Or the more aware you'll be to enjoy the current moment, the more you'll be aware and at peace and able to respond well to life's full, I'm gonna say full catastrophe living, but it's not a full catastrophe, it's just everything that life throws at you. Level 1 is the level of liberation. You definitely never arrive, it's always something to maintain. To me, that's the level of the central self. The bottom level is the full-on ego calculating self. That level to me is when you're so present about what is and you're so present about this thing up here that you can just smile and not give power to the most powerful tool that we have, just right here. So that's my idea today, home stretch. Keeping you at Deep TBA. I will see you tomorrow. Everybody, Palka. Goodbye.